Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are looking at something of a paradox.
A real one.
We've got this document in front of us that's simply titled, Below are 50 Teachings for Young Men.
Right.
And honestly, on the surface, it looks like something you'd find in a Sunday school filing cabinet from 1950. It's very heavy on the King James Bible verses.
Oh, it is. You see the these and thous right out of the gate. It feels archaic at first.
Exactly. But then right next to these, ancient texts, the author has slapped on these incredibly punchy, almost aggressive tactical lessons for the modern world.
Just strange mix.
It is. It's like reading a sermon that was edited by, a Navy SEAL or something.
That is a great way to put it. It's definitely not just be a nice person. It reads like a field manual for effectiveness.
A field manual.
Yeah.
And honestly, 50 rules, that's a nightmare to just memorize. If we just read these one by one, we'd be here all day and you'd remember, maybe one of them. Nothing. You'd remember nothing. So our mission today isn't to preach the list. It's to decode it. We want to see if we can take these 50 sort of fragmented points and assemble them into the actual blueprint this document is trying to build.
Because there is one.
Mm-hmm.
When you zoom out, there are 4 very distinct pillars holding this whole thing together.
It's surprisingly cohesive.
It is. It argues for a specific kind of life, one that is stable, productive, and frankly, pretty resilient to the chaos of modern culture.
It's about building a life that doesn't just collapse under pressure.
Exactly.
So here's the roadmap for you, the listener. We've synthesized the list into 4 themes. The foundation, which is your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
The engine, which is how you handle work and money. The brakes, which, and this is crucial, is self-control. And finally, the network, covering who you know, who you marry.
So you've got the internal, the accelerator, the safety mechanism, and the environment. That pretty much covers it all.
Let's start at the bottom, the foundation. The document leads with teaching number 1, quoting Proverbs 4.7. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding.
Okay, so wisdom. It's one of those words we throw around.
Right. What does it actually mean here?
Well, the text is making a hard distinction between data and judgment. We live in an age of infinite data. You can Google anything. But this text calls wisdom the principal thing.
The principal thing.
In engineering terms, wisdom is the operating system. Intelligence is just the processor speed. You can have a fast processor, a high IQ, lots of facts, but if the OS is buggy, you just crash faster.
That phrase, with all thy getting,
Yeah.
it really stands out to me. It sounds urgent, desperate even.
It's aggressive. It implies that you should be willing to trade other things to get it. This is not passive absorption. It's a hunt.
You had to go out and seize it.
You do. And the document immediately pivots to where that OS comes from. That's in teaching number 7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge.
Okay, I have to play devil's advocate here. Fear is a very loaded word.
Yes.
For a modern listener, fear of the Lord sounds like we're talking about being, terrified of a lightning bolt.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the vibe here?
Context is key. In this source material, fear isn't about terror. It's about a recognition of hierarchy. It's about realizing you aren't the center of the universe.
Ah, okay.
The argument is that if you believe you are the ultimate authority, you can rationalize anything. You can convince yourself that your bad ideas are actually brilliant.
So it's a check on your own ego.
Precisely. It's an external anchor point. Without that moral North Star, raw intelligence has no direction. You might be smart, but you aren't wise.
And that leads right into the biggest enemy of wisdom in the text, which is pride.
Right.
We see this in teaching number 8 and 38. Before honor is humility, and then the famous one, pride goeth before destruction. We've all heard that second one.
Sure.
But is it just saying don't be arrogant? Or is there more to it?
It's deeper. The text frames pride as a blinding mechanism. When you're proud, you stop scanning for threats. You think you're invincible.
You stop learning.
You stop learning because you think you know it all. So pride goes before destruction isn't a threat. It's a sequence of events. First you get arrogant, then you stop paying attention, then you crash.
So humility in this context isn't about having low self-esteem. It's about having high situational awareness.
Exactly. Humility is accuracy. It's knowing exactly where you stand, what you don't know, and who is better than you. And that makes you teachable.
And if you aren't teachable...
The text implies you're just waiting for a disaster.
Okay, so to wrap up the foundation, we have to look at the very end of the list.
Right.
Teaching number 50 quotes Romans 14.112. Every one of us shall give account of himself to God.
This is the accountability loop. This closes it.
Right.
The idea is that you can't just float through life anonymously. The text insists that you are on the record. Every choice has a cost.
And whether you take that religiously or secularly, the mindset is, I own the outcome.
Yes, that is the bedrock of maturity. You aren't a victim of circumstance. You are an agent making choices that will be audited.
Okay, so the foundation is built. Wisdom, humility, accountability.
Yeah.
Once that's set, you need to actually move.
You need an engine.
Let's talk about the engine: work ethic, ambition, wealth.
And this is where the text gets very practical very fast. It stops talking about feelings and starts talking about performance.
I love teaching number 4. It quotes Proverbs 22:29. Seest thou a man diligent in his business? He shall stand before kings.
Notice the cause and effect there. It doesn't say a man who's great at networking or a man who went to an Ivy League school.
No, it says diligent.
Diligent.
But diligent feels like such a boring word. It just sounds like keeping your head down and grinding.
It does, but look at the promise attached to it. He shall stand before kings. The text is arguing for a pure meritocracy. If you become undeniable in your craft.
The absolute best at what you do.
Yes. Then access to high-level people isn't something you have to chase. It's inevitable. Competence is the ultimate magnet. The text argues that the world cannot ignore excellence forever.
So stop trying to network and just get good.
Get good is the strategy. But the text contrasts this with the sluggard in teaching number 5. Go to the ant, thou sluggard.
The classic ant analogy. But what are we supposed to learn from an ant? Aren't they just mindless drones?
They're self-starters. That's the key here. The verse explicitly says the ant has no guide, overseer, or ruler. No boss telling it what to do.
So diligence is internal.
It has to be. If you only work hard when the boss is watching, you're a sluggard in disguise. The ant mindset is about having a high internal standard that doesn't fluctuate based on who's in the room. It's about being self-propelling.
That's a killer distinction. It shifts the focus from obedience to initiative.
Right.
But let's look at the result of that work. We all want the payoff. But teaching number 9 throws a flag on the play. He that hasteth to be rich, considereth not that poverty shall come upon him.
This is so counterintuitive. We assume speed is good. Move fast and break things, right?
Right. Get rich or die trying. That's the whole hustle culture motto.
But the text argues that if you haste to be rich, if the goal is the money right now, you become vulnerable. You take shortcuts. You gamble, you compromise your reputation.
And you get wiped out.
Usually. The text suggests the pursuit of fast money actually triggers poverty because it blinds you to risk.
It's the difference between building a business and just buying lottery tickets.
Exactly. And contrast that with teaching 15. The plans of the diligent lead surely to plenty. The key word is surely.
Slow and steady.
The document is pushing for slow, compounding, sustainable growth. It views fast money as a trap.
Speaking of traps, we have to talk about debt. Teaching number 16, the borrower is servant to the lender.
This is one of the hardest hitting lines for modern listeners. I mean, we live in a credit economy.
Everything is a subscription or a monthly payment.
But the text uses the word servant. In the original context, that's bordering on slavery.
It reframes debt from a financial tool to a freedom issue.
That's the deep dive insight here. It's not about interest rates. It's about autonomy. If you have payments, you don't own your future. Your lender does.
You can't quit the job you hate.
You can't, because you have to service the debt. You can't take a risk on a new venture because you have to service the debt. The text says to stay out of debt, not to save money, but to save your independence.
So the engine is running. You're diligent, patient, financially free. But if you have a Ferrari engine with no brakes, you die.
You do.
And that brings us to pillar 3, the brakes. Self-control.
And this is where the document really challenges that stereotypical view of, alpha manhood. It just flips the script on what it means to be tough.
It really does. Teaching number 3, he that is slow to anger is better than the mighty.
Think about that comparison. Better than the mighty.
It's a redefinition of power.
Absolutely. We think of the mighty man as the one who flips the table, who yells the loudest, imposes his will, the guy who takes up all the oxygen in the room.
The guy who dominates.
Right. But the text says that guy is weak. If you cannot control your own temper, you are basically a puppet. Anyone who knows how to push your buttons can control you.
So the stronger man is the one who has that capacity for anger, but keeps it under control.
Under absolute control. It's the difference between a wildfire and a controlled burn. One destroys, the other generates energy.
And that control extends to the mouth, too. Teaching 10 says, "He that keepeth his mouth keepeth his life." And teaching 17 says, "Swift to hear, slow to speak."
The lesson there is that words have a blast radius. We've all seen careers, relationships destroyed in 10 seconds because someone couldn't keep their mouth shut.
Teaching 17 links listening to conflict prevention.
Yes, swift to hear. Most of us listen with the intent to reply, not to understand. We're just reloading our ammunition while the other person talks. The text suggests that if you just shut up and listen, you often realize there isn't actually a fight to be had. Listening is a tactical maneuver. It de-escalates. It gives you the information advantage.
But some things you can't de-escalate. Teaching 13 about fornication and teaching 26 about alcohol being a mocker.
Right.
The advice for sexual temptation is interesting. It doesn't say fight it. It says flee.
Flee fornication. It's the only time the text recommends running away.
But is that cowardly? Shouldn't a disciplined man be able to stare down temptation?
See, that's the trap. The text understands human biology better than we do. It suggests that once you engage with that specific biological drive, your engine takes over and your brakes fail. You lose IQ points.
And alcohol is a mocker for the same reason. It tricks you.
It tricks you into thinking you're in control when you aren't. So the strategy is avoidance, not confrontation.
Don't test your willpower against your biology in a cage match.
You'll lose. Just leave the cage. It's pragmatic. A wise general knows which battles to fight and which ones to avoid entirely.
And the payoff for all this breaking, holding your tongue, checking your anger, fleeing temptation is in teaching 25. It says, "Discipline yields the peaceful fruit of righteousness."
That's the why. Why be disciplined? Because the result is peace. A life without breaks is constant drama, constant cleanup, constant apologies.
A disciplined life is peaceful.
You sleep better when you haven't blown up your life.
Okay, so we've built the foundation, tuned the engine, fixed the brakes. Now we need to look at the road and the other drivers.
Yeah.
Pillar 4, the network.
Relationships and reputation.
And this starts with a verse that I think even people who've never read the Bible know. Teaching 2. "He that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed."
It's the binary nature of that statement that gets me. It doesn't say you might be influenced.
No, it's a guarantee.
It's osmosis. You cannot separate your destiny from your social circle. If you hang around fools, and a fool here isn't a jester, it's someone without that moral compass, you will be destroyed. You catch their shrapnel.
Teaching 34 doubles down on this. "Enter not into the path of the wicked." It sounds like it's talking about exposure.
It is. And in the modern world, your companions aren't just the people you grab a beer with. It's the podcasts you listen to, the Twitter feeds you scroll, the influencers you follow.
That's who you're walking with.
Exactly. If you feed your brain garbage, don't be surprised when your life looks like a landfill.
Let's pivot to a different kind of relationship. Authority. Teaching 11 mentions honoring your father and mother, and teaching 28 speaks of being subject unto higher powers.
This is a tough sell in our culture. We love the rebel archetype.
We do. Question authority is the bumper sticker of our generation.
Yeah.
Is the text saying we should be sheep?
No, I think it's arguing for stability. If you are constantly at war with every authority figure, your parents, your boss, the police, the tax man, you are leaking energy.
You're just wasting resources on fights.
Fights that don't move you forward. Respecting authority is a pragmatic play to create order in your life so you can focus on what matters. It's not about being a sheep. It's about not being a target. It's about navigating the hierarchy effectively, not trying to burn it down.
Okay, but there is one relationship where the dynamic changes completely. Marriage.
Right.
Teaching 47 quotes Ephesians 5:25. "Love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church."
This is the mic drop moment for the alpha cloud, or anyone who thinks this text supports misogyny.
How so?
Because earlier, we defined strength as self-control. Here, the text defines manhood in a relationship as sacrificial love. As Christ loved the church, regardless of your theology, the narrative there is that he died for it. He gave himself up.
So it totally undercuts the idea of the tyrant husband who bosses his wife around.
It completely destroys it. The text explicitly says strength is shown through care, not dominance. If you're using your strength to serve yourself, you've missed the entire point of the blueprint. You're a provider and a protector, not a dictator. It sets an incredibly high bar.
And finally, what is the net result of how you treat people? Your friends, your wife, your bosses. It's your reputation.
It all comes down to reputation.
Teaching 29. "A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches."
And we circle back to wealth one last time. The text posits that character is a stronger currency than cash.
That's a bold claim. You can buy a lot with cash.
You can, but you can't buy trust. If you have a good name, meaning people know you are honest, competent, disciplined, doors open for you that money cannot pry open. And here's the kicker. If you lose your money but keep your good name, you can earn the money back.
People will back you again.
Investors will back you, partners will trust you. But if you lose your name to get the money, you're done. You've burned the bridge you're standing on.
So let's zoom out. We've gone through 50 teachings, broken them down into mindset, work, self-control, and relationships. If we were to build an avatar of the young man this document is trying to create, what does he look like?
He's a formidable figure. He isn't the loudest guy in the room. In fact, he's probably very quiet, listening more than he talks. He's incredibly hardworking, but he's not rushing into get-rich-quick schemes. He's debt-free or working hard to get there. He treats women with this intense, sacrificial respect.
And he has that self-control.
A terrifying level of self-control. He doesn't react. He responds.
It's a picture of stability.
That is the word, stability. You see this in Teaching 19, let not thine heart envy sinners. It's so easy to look at the guy cutting corners who just bought the Lambo and feel jealous.
Of course.
But the text says, don't envy the flash, bet on the rock.
Teaching 41 calls it being steadfast.
Steadfast, immovable. The goal isn't to be a shooting star that burns out in a blaze of glory and destruction. The goal is to be the mountain. You want to be the guy who is still standing when the storm clears.
And that leads us to a final thought for you to chew on. We talked about looking where you're going. For Teaching 30 says, the prudent man looketh well to his going.
This is the ultimate form of wisdom in the text, foresight.
So here's the question for you. We live in an age of infinite distraction. We're all scrolling, reacting to the notification, dealing with the urgent thing right in front of our noses. But are you actually looking at where you are going?
If you extended the line of your current habits, your spending, your friends, your attitude out for 10 years, do you like where that line ends?
Because this source material suggests that unless you look well to your going, you probably won't like where you end up. You don't drift your way to a good life, you have to steer.
Lift your head up, look down the road. That's the prudent man.
Thanks for diving in with us. We'll see you on the next one.